Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Maisara binti Makrofi. My metric number 2020811544. So today, my group will present skills passing in netball. Before we proceed to the next content, I will explain what is netball. Netball is a ball sport that is predominantly played by women and is played by two teams of 7 players on an indoor court. Netball is also similar to basketball, but the rules, equipment, and team numbers differ. There is no dribbling or running with the ball, and the ball must be passed within 3 seconds. As we know, netball is a fast-paced, skillful game of fair competition. One of the skills that is important in netball is passing, which netball passes can be two-handed or one-handed. When you can make one-handed pass to your teammates with relative ease, you know you are getting better at netball. Okay, now we will proceed with muscle involvement during passing. So there are 3 phases, which is wind-up phase, propulsion phase, and release phase. So for the wind-up phase, the muscles that involve are the deltoid and pectoralis major. The anterior deltoid, medial deltoid, and posterior deltoid are the 3 types of deltoid muscles. Deltoid muscles are located in our shoulder, which is ball and socket joint that connects our arm to our trunk. Deltoid muscles allow us to move our arms in a variety of directions. They also safeguard and support our shoulder joint. Okay, next, propulsion phase. The muscles that involve in the propulsion phase are rotator cuff muscles, which include the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, and teres minor. The rotator cuff muscles contract during arm movements, preventing the humeral head from sliding and allowing full range of motion and stability. Furthermore, rotator cuff muscles aid in a shoulder joint mobility by facilitating abduction, medial rotation, and lateral rotation. Following trapezius, trapezius is in charge of posture and movement. It enables you to tilt your head up and down as well as turn your head around. It also allows you to stand up straight, twist your torso, and shrug or pull your shoulders back. When you lift your arm or throw a ball, the trapezius muscles control your scapula, which is shoulder blade. Lastly, release phase. Muscles that involve in this phase are the bicep brachii, tricep brachii, trapezius, and quadriceps. The biceps' primary function is forearm flexion and supination, which is outward rotation. This is aided in part by the muscle's 90-degree rotation as it connects to the radius, whereas the tricep brachii function is the extension of the elbow joint. While for quadriceps and hamstring collaborate to move the leg.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur binti Ismail. My metric number is 2020861004 and I am from RSR 1134A. So now I will be taking part of bones involvement in passing in netball. So as you can see in picture, there are elbow bones in elbow part and scapula in shoulder parts and vertebrae. Elbow bones. The forearm and hand may move toward and away from the body through the elbow joint, which serve as a hinge between the arm and forearm. To assist in pushing the ball towards the hoops, this action would take place. Scapula, it allows a congruent ball and socket arrangement through the full range of arm motion by keeping the alignment of the humerus and glenoid within psychologic limits, which maximize the concavity and compression capability of the joint. The second phase, which is propulsion phase, there are humerus, which is upper arm, and patella, which is at kneecap, and forearm. There are 2. Number 1 is ulna, and number 2 is radius. Humerus, which is upper arm, between the elbow and the shoulder in the upper arm is where the humerus bone is situated. It supports mobility in the arm and shoulder and is the longest bones in the arm. Humerus is classified trusted source as a long bone. Other types of long bone include the radius and ulna in your forearm and the femur in your upper leg. Forearm, including the radius and ulna, primary job is to aid in rotation. Due to the expanded range of motion, this rotation enables the wrist and hand to work at the highest potential. Flexion and extension, sometimes referred to as bending and straightening the arm, are the only movement possible at the elbow joint. The radius pivot to provide movement with the ulna serving as the stabilizing bones. This release phase, there are phalanges and finger bones, and knee and tibia, fibula, and phalanges. Phalanges, the 15 bones that make up both the toes on each foot and the fingers on each band. The thumb only have 2 phalanges, but each finger has 3, which is the distal, middle, and proximal. Knee, which is articulation between the patella, which is kneecap, femur, thigh bone, and tibia. The knee is a modified hinge joint, which is lower leg. The medial and lateral meniscus that are located between the tibia and femur are also a component of this intricate anatomy. These tissues serve to preserve the end of the bones and functions as a shock absorber for the knee.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Kainisha binti Khairi from SR1134A. I would like to present about joint movement on 3 phases in netball sport of shoulder pass. The wind-up phase involves joint movement hyperflexion, flexion, pronation, and adduction. Generally, flexion and extension refers to decreasing or minimizing joint angle. In shoulder pass skill, we can see hyperflexion at the right shoulder joint and the elbow joint. However, the flexion movement is on the left hand. Pronation joint movement is when the rotation of the hand and forearms occur. Therefore, the palms face backward and downwards. Player left leg movement is known as abduction because the movement of the leg is away from the midline of the body. It occurs at the hip joint during a wind-up phase. Next, the propulsion phase is take place when the ball moves anteriorly and ends when the wrist is at its most anterior aspect. The picture shows that the propulsion phase involves hyperflexion movement at the right hand, extension on the left hand and left leg, and dorsiflexion movement on the left leg. Lastly, the release phase. The player implies flexion joint movement on her right hand and extension on her left hand. However, the movement of the left leg is an extension. The right leg movement is known as plantar flexion, which is the top of the player's foot points away from her legs. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Muasimah bin Azhar. My matrix number is 2020457412. Okay, next I will proceed with my part, which is what is synovial joint that have involved in shoulder passing in netball sport. So for your information, we will start with what is synovial joint. So for your information, synovial joint is the type of joint that we will found between bones that move against each other. Such the example of joint for example, which is pivot joint, hitch joint, gliding joint, and also saddle joint. So without wasting any time, I will proceed with what synovial joint that are involved in shoulder passing in netball sport. So for the first phase, which is the synovial joint that involved, first is hinge joint, and secondly is gliding joint. Okay, so this is for the first phase, which is wind up phase. So secondly, we will proceed with palpation phase. So the synovial joint that involved, first is saddle joint, and secondly the joint is ball and socket joint. So this joint is for the palpation phase, and lastly for release phase. So for this release phase, the synovial joint that involved, first is saddle joint, and secondly is pivot joint. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shakir Aiman Bisubri from RSR 1134A, and my matrix number is 2020607588. I'm gonna talk about how to maximize skill performance of shoulder pass in netball. Alright, one of the way to maximize shoulder pass in netball is by straighten your arm. And to straighten your arm can help you to pass faster. To gain maximum force behind shoulder pass, transfer the weight to the front foot and arm need to be fully straightened on release phase, and keep head up and eyes on the receiver so that the ball should travel quickly and flat trajectory through the air. And then second way to maximize shoulder pass is by make a 45-degree release. This can help you to pass far away. To make a farthest shoulder pass, make sure to release the ball on 45-degree projectile so that the ball will traverse the farthest and remain in the air in a longer time.